Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Thank you for stopping by this afternoon or morning, depending on, where you're at. And I wanted to drop in, start mixing things up a bit when we can. I think we're at that point now. And there's this still missing, from Cohasset, I believe Massachusetts. And she went missing around New Year's. January 1st. And she's supposed to show up at work. I guess she didn't. There's a bunch of weird, shady stuff. And apparently the husband is now arrested. So Anna, she's 39. Husband is 46. They have 3 boys between the ages of 2 and 6. They were doing all these searches and stuff and around the house. And apparently, now this dude's arrested for misleading the investigation. But allegedly this guy's like a scam artist too. And we got to get to this new information too, supposedly about this blooded knife thing being found in the basement, which is kind of like, yikes. And was this guy lying? So yeah, if you guys could hit like, I'd appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for joining. And we hear stories like this all the time, right? All the time. Who knows what happened, but I mean, shit. The finger to me is looking like pointing at the husband. Of course, we got to wait and see what else comes out. What I wanted to do is I want to first start off. Oh, and what's so like, I kind of like, can I just skip this? Let me show you something real quick, bro. I got to show you this shit. Because I was looking this right before the stream to see what else I could find. And bro, look at the shot the police took. Hold on a second. Sofa sleuths. That's a new one. Sofa sleuths should leave the investigation to the professionals. I was like, damn, sofa sleuths. Like, oh, shit. You're not really supposed to curse at the beginning. Oh, we're 2 minutes in. Oh, man. Sofa sleuths. No, they didn't. Fire. So, I'm going to take you through the first part. I want to start is with this press conference that came out a couple of days ago. And I figured because this is kind of my new introduction to the story, we'll start a little bit from the beginning and we'll work our way through. The other thing, make sure you check out our sponsor, Swag It. I'll put the link in the chat. We'll talk more about it later, but at the end of this month, it's right around the corner, we're doing another, I guess possibly, I don't know. I gotta slow myself down a little bit. I might do the 500 as well, so we might do 1,000 giveaway. We'll see. I got it because I'm trying to move. I gotta move out of here. I need a bigger place for Maddie and I. So, but yeah, at the end of the month, we're gonna do that giveaway. All you gotta do is click the link, download the app, follow me on there, and you can earn swag bucks, all that good stuff. So let's start out with the presser. And so, let me start with the presser, and then I'm going to go through the articles because I can walk you through the story. I mean, bro, this guy is so sus. I'll just give you a little snippet. Brian Walshe, which is the husband, he tells officers that, they mistyped there. He only left the couple's home the day after his wife disappeared to get ice cream for his son. However, surveillance video at Home Depot in Rockland showed him purchasing $450 worth of cleaning supplies, including mops and drop clothes and various kinds of tape. Bruh, if that ain't sus, I don't know what is. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into it.
Thank you for coming. My name is Chief William Quigley, last name Quigley. I'm here with Detective Lieutenant Michael Lopes of the Cohasset Police Department. His last name is Lopes. Again, thank you for coming. We're looking for the public's help and the media's help in locating Anna Walshe, Walshe. She's been missing since the first of the year, early morning hours of the first of the year.
And she's a realist. She works in real estate. So she worked in Washington D.C. A Washington D.C. based real estate company called Tishman Speyer.
And we're seeking the public's help in locating her. She was reported missing again on the 1st, and she's not been heard from We have detectives working around the clock, Cohasset police detectives, along with detectives from the Massachusetts State Police, as well as detectives from the towns of Hingham, Hull, Norwell, and Situate. With that, I'll open it up to any questions.
Are there suspicious circumstances here that you're concerned about?
At this point, it's a missing person investigation. We're just trying to locate Anna and get her home safely. Whether, we have nothing to support anything.
So this was in the very, very beginning. All right. So right now they're not even, as far as we know at that time on January 6th, they weren't really looking at the husband publicly anyway.
Suspicious or criminal.
Who reported her missing, and where was she actually last seen? Inside her home? What was she doing prior to her going missing?
She was last seen at her house in Cohasset on the 1st of the year in the early morning hours, approximately 4 or 5 a.m. She was reported missing Wednesday. Simultaneously, we received simultaneous reports from her employer in Washington, D.C., as well as her husband.
Which, in one of the newer articles, that whole simultaneous thing, it seems like it was taken back because now they're saying, I don't know, that supposedly this guy didn't report her missing. According to WCVB, it says police were notified January 4th by her employees in Washington, D.C. that she had not shown up for work on January 4th. That was the first time police were notified that she was missing, Breland said. So he might have reported her, maybe, but it wasn't simultaneously. I don't think he was the first. But at the time, I don't know why it came out like this.
Lives here in Cohasset.
Was she supposed to get on a plane to go to Washington, D.C.? Was that why she would have left the house?
It was reported that she was that she took a ride share from her home in Cohasset to Logan Airport to board a plane to go to Reagan International Airport in D.C.
Do you have any evidence that...
And that ride share, I saw a report somewhere, which we'll go all into it, but that ride share, they couldn't confirm any ride share. Like, that's the story they were told, that she had, I guess she was going to take this ride share, I guess, to the airport, but like they looked into it, they couldn't find any.
She actually took that ride share?
Oh, there's probably right there.
We have been in contact with the rideshare companies. We have not been able to confirm that she actually got into a rideshare service. That being said, we know that there's situations where rideshare service, Anna is a person who commutes to DC, and sometimes the drivers go offline. They don't go through the actual rideshare service. They'll contract with the fare themselves. So we have detectives working on that right now. But at this point, we cannot confirm that she actually got into a rideshare in Cohasset. We can further, we have confirmed with the airlines, and that's been a challenge, that she did not board a plane this week.
I'm sorry, you confirmed that she did not board the plane? Do you know what airline she was supposed to get onto with that?
We have confirmed that. We've confirmed with all airlines. And again, it's been a challenge. It's been widely reported to the media that there's been challenges with travel over the holidays. So there's been a bit of chaos with flights being canceled and flights being rescheduled. So we had some difficulty initially getting that information to a point where it was solid information.
So you're looking for her here? You're not looking for her out in other states, or are you looking for her out beyond Massachusetts?
We're keeping, we're looking everywhere, and again, that's why we're here today, to try to find.
In case says that supposedly he didn't report her missing until January 4th, and he went to and then he went to Home Depot January 1st. So that's when he reported her. So, but this one says it wasn't simultaneous. So the other, let's see. Her employers are, so that is sus though. Yeah, if she'd been missing that long, the homeboy took a couple of days to even report her missing. What's up with that?
Anna, and bring her home.
Is her husband cooperating with the investigation?
Yeah, her husband has been fully cooperative. Her family has been cooperative. She has family that lives outside the country. She has quite a few friends, both here and in Washington, D.C. They've been fully cooperative in working with detectives. And the company that she works for, their security department, has been very helpful.
Did she take her license, her cell phone, things that she would have normally taken if she was heading to DC?
It's reported that she did have her bags with her.
And what about her cell phone? When's the last time anyone was able to deliver a message? When's the last time she received a message?
The cell phone has been off since around the 1st of the year. And again, that's one of the investigative leads that we're tracking down, but detectives are working
And I think they said too that she like stopped being active on social media as well from that first or whatever.
Electronic forensics. It's very difficult, as
Yeah, they did live together.
you know, nowadays, not to leave an electronic footprint or some type of footprint, which are debit cards or your credit cards, and none of these things have been active since the first of the year.
What time was she supposed to be taking a flight?
It was reported that she left the house around 4 a.m. and shortly thereafter, I believe 6 a.m.
So someone saw her leaving the house physically?
We have information to that effect.
Video?
No video.
And so, just to pause real quick, this says that police say Anna spent New Year's Eve with husband, kids at family Cohasset home, and was supposed to be heading to the airport early New Year's Day to go to a second home in D.C. She hasn't been seen since, and Massachusetts State Police feds now assisting in investigation. So apparently, I didn't even know that. To a second home in D.C. Heading to the airport early New Year's Day to go to a second home in D.C., and that's where she works as well.
Is there any suspicion that she's in danger at all?
Right now, it's a missing persons investigation, and the focus right now is on, trying to locate her. Whether, she just needed a little break or a timeout. We're just looking for her. If that's the case, we're just looking for her to call. All it takes is a phone call to let us know that she's okay.
Another Brian. Bruh, I didn't think about that. Another Brian. Oh, Lord, Lordy, Lord. Oof.
Of like a car or any, would she just be walking around? Like how?
She does have she has a vehicle, but she leaves it in D.C. She commutes several times a month to and from D.C. They do have a townhouse in D.C. The vehicle is usually left there. The vehicle is in D.C. We're able to confirm that. We've been working with Washington, D.C. Metro Police. They've searched the townhouse. There's no signs of her there. So right now, the last information we have is that she get into a rideshare vehicle in the early morning hours of the 1st.
Do you know the last person to see her? Was it her husband? Did her husband actually see her leave the house? Who would have been the last person who saw her?
He was sleeping when she left. It was reported as early morning.
How long will this be considered a missing persons case before you decide that she's in danger or something that along those lines?
Well, it's not normal that she's missing, so we automatically feel that she's in danger by the mere fact that she's missing. Other than that, there's no evidence to support anything illegal.
Do you know why it took so long to report her missing?
We're not exactly sure. It seems like it was a situation where she does work in D.C. and it's not abnormal for her to work long hours and not contact the home right away. So that seems to be the case.
You said she was reported missing Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Do you see any connection between her husband's crimes and missing her?
Not at this point. There's seem to be two very separate things, and again, the husband's been very cooperative. But our main focus today is trying to locate Anna, and hopefully we can get a phone call from her or someone that she knows, and that will let us know that she's okay.
What is the legal history that you know of?
Justin, thank you for the super chat. Says Brian Walshe pleaded guilty in 2021 to scamming a Los Angeles buyer by selling 2 fake Andy Warhol paintings for $80,000. Yeah, we're going to cover that towards the end. BL had sent me an article, and this morning before I started the stream, I was watching a video because I was just looking up things to find out about this story. And there's a video they actually talk about that as well, which I'm going to play, and we're going to talk about that too. Let me ask you guys something real quick. Do you notice any, I'm sorry, do you notice any difference with the mic? Because I got a new mic. I don't, if you're not using headphones, I don't think you'll notice a difference. But this supposedly is a nicer mic, but it's the same system, the audio interface and all that stuff. But I think this has I don't know, maybe it sounds exactly the same. But I got a new one, so it should be at least, I don't know, clearer, or at least not cut out last, changed some of the settings and stuff. Could be a little bit louder too. I don't know if it's too loud. Okay. Amazing. Sounds good. Okay, good. Just making sure.
We've heard things. We've talked to our federal partners, but one thing does not seem to have anything to do with the other.
Does she have any history of mental illness?
Not that we know of.
Do you know what kind of car the rideshare was that supposedly picked her up?
We can't confirm that a rideshare actually picked her up.
So it was just scheduled to pick her up, or was
It was
normal?
reported that she was going to be picked up by a rideshare.
Can you say who was the last person to see her if her husband was sleeping? Who actually saw her at 4 or 5 in the morning?
A family member.
Who was at the house?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so they physically saw her at 4 or 5 in the morning on New Year's Day.
That's what's being reported to us.
And was that one of her children, or was there somebody else in the home?
It's a family member.
And you said that his legal history, husband, has nothing to do with it. What is that legal history that you've examined and one is?
Again, we're going to focus on getting Anna home. That his legal history, alleged legal history, I haven't independently confirmed, but the main focus right now is to bring Anna home.
Is there any reason you would believe that she would take off or that she would want to get away? Because you keep saying to call us if you're out there, but.
Life is challenging sometimes. She has 3 small kids, the oldest being 6, the youngest being 2, the holidays, working out of state. Sometimes life gets chaotic. So, it may be a case where she just needed a break. And if that.
Yeah, so people thought that was kind of weird that, I don't know. I don't know if it's weird or normal, but she had to go back to work, supposedly.
That's the being 6, the youngest being. Life is challenging sometimes.
And they were just thinking maybe at first, they're trying to, I guess, give the possibility maybe she just left on her own, disappeared. But I don't know. A lot of the times it's not really the case, right?
She has 3 small kids, the oldest being 6, the youngest being 2, the holidays, working out of state. Sometimes life gets chaotic. So, it may be a case where she just needed a break. And if that's the case, we just need a call from her or someone who has talked to her.
Have you ever found any ring cams or anything in the neighborhood that would show a car? Or?
We're looking at all kinds of electronics and digital evidence. As of right now, that has turned up nothing.
And I just wondered too, because I haven't heard, I read a couple of articles and I saw a few videos, not too much. But I wonder if they were having issues. Was she getting ready to leave? Was she getting a divorce? I haven't read anything like that, because it made me think of that whole Utah story where the woman was getting a divorce. They had multiple kids, and the guy says, you know what? He kills the entire family. He kills the wife, the kids, I think mother-in-law, and then kills himself. Some of these people can't handle, it's like the end of the world for them, it's tough when you have kids. It's very complicated, but shooting and killing your own kids, damn, bro, And this guy,
Tips thus far?
We've received a ton of.
and he's smiling, and the picture that I put in the thumbnail, I don't know where this came from. So the police posted this. We'll get to that too. He over here smiling and shit. Looks dusty as shit too. I never understood some. I know it shouldn't be about. Should be looking at looks, right? But some of these women, I don't know, they just take whatever. Jesus Christ. I'm over here trying to find some this. I can't get over this thing, whatever. Jesus. All right.
A lot of information from family and friends, and again, detectives from Cohasset Police, detectives assigned from the state police,
Mumbling.
as well as Hingham, Norwell, Situate, and Hull detectives are running down these leads for us.
But at some point, this is going to raise a level of further concern for you that this isn't just a timeout.
We reevaluate this, every 6 hours.
Should the broader community, other than Cohasset, be on the lookout for her, or are you just saying the Cohasset area?
Absolutely, the broader community. She does have ties to DC, and also,
And what would make that guy smile, right? let's say he was innocent. We're supposed to presume innocence, but like it's not looking good for him, right? What would make this guy smile? Like, aren't you thinking about what your kids are going through? They literally had to take the kids away. Or you're not worried about where your wife is at? You're smiling.
She is a
Money. True. There you go. People in the chat. Money. You have to have money. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
She's
El
an
dinero.
executive with the company in DC, so she has friends all over the country. So again, we're asking the public to keep an eye out and hoping for the best.
Is that real
JD.
estate that she's in?
Yes, property management.
Can you go over the flight? That she was expected to take a flight from Boston?
It was reported that she was trying to catch a flight early morning hours of the 1st from Logan to DCA to Reagan International in DC.
Thank you.
Is there any way to know when that flight was booked? I think it might, kind of questionable that on a holiday, when the Monday is a holiday as well, that she was flying back to work on the Sunday. Is there any way to know when that flight was actually booked?
We cannot confirm an actual flight. Again, there's been some challenges trying to work through the airlines with the chaos that's been widely reported over the holidays with certain airlines. So there's been just a ton of flights canceled and rescheduled. So all we can report definitely is that she did not board a flight out of Logan Airport.
Are there any plans for searches in Cohasset with any canines or drones?
We've already conducted a search with K9, our K9 unit at the house in adjacent area. We're probably going to revisit that either today or later this afternoon.
So who actually told investigators that they thought she was taking a flight, that they thought she was taking a ride share to the flight? Was that her husband?
That came from family members.
Okay, and this is something, that's because this is something that she traditionally does, not because she said to someone she was taking a flight in the morning.
This is not out of the ordinary. She does take flights to DC weekly. She did have a flight booked. There was a flight booked. There was a ticket issued for the 3rd of January. Again, this occurred on the 1st, and we cannot confirm a flight on the 1st. So
Is that concerning?
we're looking at everything. She was called. It's been reported that she was called to DC to handle some type of emergency at one of the properties that she manages. That's why she was attempting to go to DC early. She did have a flight booked for the 3rd, but she never got on that flight.
And again, you haven't confirmed that she got on any other flight. So
It's been
Wait, she had a flight booked for the 3rd?
She did have a flight booked for the 3rd, but she never got on that flight.
So the story, I guess the 1st, supposedly she was supposed to take this ride share, which they couldn't verify at all. She was supposed to take this flight, which they couldn't verify either. They couldn't find no record of it. They contacted all the airlines, but she actually did have a confirmable flight for the 4th.
She did have a flight booked for the 3rd, but she never got on that flight.
The 3rd, my bad, the 3rd, okay. That's weird.
And again, you haven't confirmed that she got on any other flight. So
It's been confirmed she did not get on any flight last week.
Right. But her actual ticket was for the 3rd, but presumably she was leaving to go on to an earlier flight.
Correct.
And I assume there's been no credit card activity, bank account activity, anything like that?
We're working with the credit card companies, but at this point, there's been no electronic footprint at all. Okay, thank you.
So that's really weird. There has been updates going on. So for people that are joining, I'm just kind of taking you back through. And this was kind of weird. I guess it doesn't have any relation. I'm going to segue. I don't know if segue is the right word, or maybe sidestep into this part here real quick, because this was kind of interesting too. So fire at former home of missing Cohasset woman is a strange coincidence, police said. So I guess they're saying it's like unrelated. They did talk about it 2. Was it here or? They did mention this fire. Okay, yeah. Please see below press release after Cohasset Fire Department responded to 2 alarm house fires. So at 2:14, Cohasset Fire and police were dispatched to 725 Jerusalem Road for a fire report. Upon arrival, firefighters observed smoke coming from the attic of the home. Cohasset crews struck a second alarm shortly after arriving on scene. The 4 occupants of the home, 3 adults and a young child, safely escaped prior to the first responders' arrival. So at first, I guess people were kind of looking at this like, oh shit, is this connected? Like whatever. Like, but they're saying it's just a weird coincidence.
That Walshe used to live here, and now there's a fire at her home. Coincidence?
Obviously we're going to look at everything here. Very strange coincidence, but we have the fire marshal's office, and our detectives will be assigned here to investigate this fire.
Give us the history of the house and first connection to this house.
I don't really have the history of the house. We received a phone call, a 911 call for a attic fire this afternoon. Units responded here. Cohasset Fire arrived on scene, and they struck a second alarm, brought in firefighters from Holland, Situate, as well as the Cohasset firefighters, and as you can see, they're working to extinguish it now.
The missing woman lived here at one time.
At one time she did, yes. They sold.
Yo, somebody said the self-combusting in the chat. Bro, I don't know why that took me back, because I used to watch all these videos. It can't really happen, right? I used to see all these like back in the day, years ago. Used to talk about self-combustion. It used to scare me. I don't think that's really a thing, right? Or is it? Spontaneous self-combustion.
There's another family living here now, and those are the people that called and reported the fire.
Is that family related at all to Anna and her husband?
I don't have any information about that. I don't think so, but it's something we're looking at.
All right,
Were they home at the time when the fire broke out?
The homeowner was home at the time.
Are they around here now? Or?
I don't know.
So I just want to make sure we were with the rain and everything. Is it just a coincidence that this fire took place at the home where Anna most recently lived?
We don't know. Some with detectives in the fire marshal's office will be investigating.
So how significant is it that this house is a house where Anna once lived?
Obviously, it's highly strange. We'll get to the bottom of things.
Once the fire is out, you're obviously going to go in and do a thorough search to see if there's any connection to the case.
Of course, yes.
See if she was there,
I'm sorry?
To see if she's actually in there.
Oh yeah, there'll be a full search and full investigation of the fire.
And speaking of searches,
status update on the search there.
So as you know, there's we have ground search teams working in the area of Chief Justice Cushing Highway 3A in Cohasset. Teams from the Metropolitan Law Enforcement Council, as well as the state police. We are doing a full ground search in that area for any clues as to the whereabouts of.
KCL says there's no such thing as coincidence, ? I think there is, man. I used to think that, like, there isn't, but shit really just sometimes just happens. I mean, this is really weird, but I've just seen just life experiencing things, I don't know. Or I don't know if it's just a sign or like, I don't know. But I think there is coincidences.
Why do you want to search those woods?
It's just something we'd do. That'd be a matter of course.
And have you found anything?
I haven't checked in with the command post in the last hour or so.
And hearing him talk, I'm also wondering what day is trash day, because I just think of Quentin Simon. Now we're gonna get into the reports too. This guy purchased all these cleaning supplies in Home Depot. What did he do? If he did something which is, I don't know, is pointing towards him, he's arrested now for misleading the investigation. Now they're saying blood and knife.
But we'll have a full briefing later.
What are your concerns that you would send your officers into the woods? Are you concerned that she's in the area?
We have to do our due diligence. It's something we want to check. Of course, it just makes good sense to check around, her house.
Do you have any reason to believe she's never, you said there was no indication she got into a ride share, so it's quite possible she somehow left her house and is in the area.
That's why we're checking the area.
Chief, are you any closer? You had a press conference at 10 o'clock, now it's about 3 o'clock. Are you any closer now to figuring out what happened to Anna Walshe?
We're busy, gathering a ton of evidence and information. digital evidence, digital information, and we just have to sort through that. And again, hopefully we can bring in a home safe.
Tips keep coming in?
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. This one here, did have a video I wanted to play. This one.
Still no.
This one, and let me get another article as well, because I sent myself a video I wanted to show you guys about the whole scamming thing too. I think this is it.
Tonight.
Oh yeah, that is it. Okay. That's the scamming thing. Guess we'll go through this first here, and then we'll go with the fire. Oh yeah, that's this article here. Okay. So I'm not gonna go through this whole thing because it's kind of everything we've recapped. But I kind of wanted to show these pictures just to show you a little bit of the search and everything that they were doing. Anna Walsh was last seen by a family member in her Cohasset home between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. January 1st. The police chief Quigley said, Walsh's cell phone as well as her credit card, debit cards have been inactive since New Year's Day. Let me just show you some of the search here going on. A state trooper inspects an item that he found in the woods. I've been doing a lot of searching. Marked and unmarked police cruisers arrived at the Walsh's home about 9 a.m. Sunday. This was on January 1st, less than 16 hours after state police and Cohasset police said the grounds. Maybe it's not January 1st. Sunday. The first was on a Sunday, but police said the search would not resume unless they developed new information that would warrant a renewed search. Investigators were seen walking around the home and taking photographs throughout the day Sunday and went inside the home. Police developed probable cause to believe that Anna's husband, Brian, had committed the crime of misleading police investigators. A statement from the district attorney's office said young children were led out of the house Sunday morning. Anna and Brian Walsh have 3 boys between the ages of 2 and 6. A red truck pulled up to the home earlier Sunday morning and dropped off an older woman who spoke with the investigators for a few minutes. The woman later appeared to leave the home with the children in a different vehicle. Maybe that's family or something, or maybe that's just somebody taking CPS, or I don't know. A man left the home in a separate vehicle shortly after, and Brian Walsh is arraigned Monday morning, which is what we're going to watch now too in a minute. We're going to watch his arraignment. Sunday's unexpected mobilization follows a decision Saturday night by state police and Cohasset police to end a 2-day ground search for Anna Walsh. In a joint statement, state police and Cohasset police said their ground search for Walsh ended 5:15 p.m. Saturday. And it kind of just goes on and on with the search stuff. Doing aerial searches and like canines and divers. 2 state police divers also searched a small stream and a pool. So I'm going to show you a clip of that actually. The pool. Let me see. This is right here. This is a video from Sky 5 that showed a search appeared to extend to sheds near the home areas where police had not focused on during earlier in the searches. Helicopter. Guess we don't need the audio for that. But you can kind of see them in booties walking up, searching around, which I think actually they're supposed to put that like right at the entrance. I don't know that you walk around the entire property and then put on booties to go inside. You know, it's gonna, huh? What? But, or maybe that's just for the outside search. I thought, I don't know if they drained the pool. The pool's already drained. It looks pretty messy though. Maybe he just has it on because it's for the outside area. I don't know if they really need it for the outside area, but possible. It's like, oh shit, they saw me. That was kind of like some of the aerial stuff going on. I don't think so either. So the neighborhood says she did not leave that house alive. I don't think so either. And then if you think about it, let's say this husband, right? If he did something to this mother in the house, he did it while the kids were there, right? It's a pretty big house. It would be interesting to get like a layout of the house. I didn't think about that before the stream. You know, he would have had to do something, I'm assuming, or thinking in the house while the kids were there, while maybe they were sleeping and shit. They drained and dug the pool. Thanks. Ferry says they drained it. The other things. Yeah, we got everything on there. So what I want to do too is I want to show. I wonder which one I like better. Let's watch his arraignment for today. Mo and BL sent me this other link. See, I had the link. Let me do this one. I was going to use the article link, but this one has the whole thing together.
Mr. Brian Walsh.
Damn.
Complaint 230136 out of Cohasset. You're charged with intimidation of a witness on the 8th of
Ooh, intimidation of a witness.
January 2023. A not guilty plea will be entered.
Do you understand that charge, Mr. Walsh? Yes. I'll hear from the Commonwealth.
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Lynn Beeland for the Commonwealth. Your Honor, the charge before the court right now, the defendant is charged under the intimidation, that being misleading the police in the course of an investigation. The investigation was into the missing person of Anna Walsh. Anna is the wife of this defendant. She's 37 years old. They have 3 children, 2, 4, and 6.
Oh, the other article said 39. This woman's saying, did she say 30? She's 37?
She's 37 years old.
Oh,
they have 3 children, 2, 4, and 6. Anna Walsh was last seen on New Year's Day about between 4 and 6 a.m. in the morning. The defendant indicated that she left the house to go, she works in Washington, D.C. The defendant indicated in the subsequent interview that she left the house around 6 a.m. taking an Uber or Lyft to go to the airport, where she was going to go to work in D.C. That was the last time she was seen. In the course of the investigation, police were notified around January 4th by her employees in Washington, D.C. that she had not shown up for work on January 4th. That was the first time that she was notified that she was missing. Up until this.
So it was the employees. That's the thing. Because, you know, when they watched that press conference, the police chief said, like, simultaneously, but I think they're kind of correcting it. And they're saying that it was the employees. And so she was missing from the first. I mean, it just looks bad for the, you know, this guy. It's the employment that's saying she's missing. She didn't show up.
Police were notified around January 4th by her employees in Washington, D.C. that she had not shown up for work on January 4th.
And that completely contradicts the whole story that we don't know. Like, that supposedly she was leaving on the 1st to take a flight to go to work when they couldn't find any flights for the 1st and they couldn't find that supposed rideshare driver. The only thing that they could verify is that there was a flight, I believe, on the 3rd to go to DC, not the 1st.
That was the first time that she was notified that she was missing. Up until this point, the defendant had not notified anyone that she was missing. In the investigation, it was determined that she actually had a plane ticket for January 3rd, which she did not use, and did not show up at the airport, nor her D.C. job or her apartment in D.C. It was indicated that the defendant, police checked during the course of this investigation. There was not a Uber or any kind of lift that had picked her up on January 1st. In fact, in the course of the investigation, it was determined that her cell phone pinged in the area of the house, which is located on Chief Justice Cushing Way, that her phone pinged on the 1st and the 2nd, which is after the defendant had said she had left.
Ooh.
Pinged on the 1st is located on Chief pinged in the area of the house, which is located on Chief Justice Cushing Way, that her phone pinged on the 1st and the 2nd.
Ooh. So she disappears, and like we don't know where she's at, but her phone is still pinging at the house.
Which is after the defendant had said she had left.
After this guy claimed she left. Ooh.
Additionally, the defendant right now was on house arrest, pending sentencing in federal court. Part of that probation and condition, he was to report his whereabouts if he was to leave the house. He indicated, as part of the investigation, when police spoke with him, that on January 1st, he went to his mother's house. However, it took him a lot longer because he got lost going to his mother's house in Swampscott. He also subsequently indicated and stated to the police that he went to Whole Foods and CVS. Police subsequently did surveillance and checked. There was no surveillance or indication that he went to Whole Foods, nor CVS. He indicated he purchased some items. There's no receipts for him having purchased that. He then returned home. Surveillance was checked by several police during this time frame. These statements caused a lot of delay as part of the investigation, as police now were focusing on the North Shore. He further indicated that on January 2nd, as he was supposed to report in, that the only time he left is that he went to take his son for some ice cream. Surveillance checked during the investigation indicated that the defendant, in fact, on January 2nd, sometime after 4 o'clock, went to the Home Depot, which is in Auckland. He's on surveillance at that time, purchasing about $450 worth of cleaning supplies. That would include mops, bucket, tops, T-Vex, drop cloths, as well as various kinds of tape. He's on surveillance at that time on January 2nd, even though he said he never left the house. Police obtained a search warrant and actually searched the house with crime scene services. During that time, they found blood in the basement. Blood was found in the basement area, as well as a knife, which also contained some blood.
Ooh. So I wonder what kind of knife. And I'm kind of noticing and looking at his facial expression. He's just like there with like a blank stare, almost kind of cocky. Maybe not so cocky now that he's hearing all the information that he got. This guy clearly wasn't really, I don't know if that's the word is smart about it. I mean, the GPS still pinging there. This cockamamie story about her leaving and she for a flight, but there's no flight. This whole rideshare thing, but there's no rideshare that they could find so far. Weapon and blood found in the basement, like, you know, purchasing all these supplies. I don't know if he used a card or what. It's on surveillance. Jeez.
He said he never left the house. Police obtained a search warrant and actually searched the house with crime scene services. During that time, they found blood in the basement. Blood was found in the basement area, as well as a knife, which also contained some blood.
Could you repeat that last? I missed it.
Yes, in the basement, crime scene services recovered and found blood in the basement area, in a section of the basement. There was also a knife that was found. On the knife, there was also blood, and part of the knife was damaged.
And I wonder how visible that blood was, or did they use some chemicals to like make it kind of, you know, stand out?
Your Honor, these various statements caused a delay in the investigation, to the point that during the time frame when he didn't report his wife and gave various statements, that allowed him time to either clean up evidence, dispose of evidence, in causing a delay. As of this time, Anna Walshe has not been found. So because of that, the Commonwealth is asking $500,000 cash bail. At this time, these are the charges.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mr. Walsh's wife has been missing since January 1st, and it is true that her employer contacted the police on January 4th. However, that was as a result of Mr. Walsh, Brian Walsh, contacting the employer to say, I haven't heard from my wife. The employer suggested that their security team, who was a former law enforcement officer, contact both the Cohasset police and the DC Metro police, which he did. Mr. Walsh has given several interviews. We have consented to searches of his home. We have consented to searches of his property. We have consented to searches of his cell phone. I negotiated with First Assistant District Attorney, to promote you, Lynn Beeland, on the terms of that to protect attorney-client. He has been incredibly cooperative. The charges are not anything relating, he's not charged with murder. He's charged with misleading investigators by not saying, as I understand it, he went to Home Depot in Rock.
I want to hear this. What's the Home Depot explanation?
He did say he went to Press in Norwell, and as Your Honor knows, Rockland Home Depot was right next to Norwell. If in fact he was there, it was next in the town next to him. With respect,
that's it.
To the other alleged.
So what? What she's using to defend the $450 purchase is that he didn't go to the one closest to him. He went to the one further away. I mean, is that what she said? I mean, that would to me be like, okay, yeah, he's trying to hide it or cover his tracks.
He went to Press in Norwell, and as Your Honor knows, Rockland Home Depot was right next to Norwell. If in fact he was there, it was next in the town next to him.
Yeah. And like
with respect,
wow.
To the other alleged omission is that he was in Brockton and Abington. They don't have him stopping anywhere in those areas as far as the police report says. He did say that he took his son out twice on the 2nd. He is on home confinement. He has a bracelet on him. A violation has been noticed of him, so if he leaves here.
I don't think she's really prepared. She's supposed to know ahead of time. I wonder, does she know ahead of time before what they're presenting? Or can they just catch her off guard? Because the other thing too is, how do you explain the GPS, the phone still pinging after this guy said she left for the airport and rideshare, still pinging at the house?
There's a federal detainer. He will be taken to federal court, and I would suggest that on the bail violations in federal court, the appropriate place to decide those conditions of release is in the federal court. I would ask for.
And I mean, she's not here to defend the guy. She's just I guess she's trying to get the guy bailed, maybe trying to get it lowered. That's pretty much, she's not going to
low bail or no bail
there
to let the federal courts decide this. He's not going anywhere. He hasn't gone anywhere since January 1st. He's been in the house. That's true. He's been in the house with police almost 12 hours a day. I've been at the house with him with police for at least 8 hours a day. Well, not yesterday, but yesterday the police were at his house and he was at my home. But Friday and Saturday I was at his house for at least 8 hours with police officers present. So it's not that he's been there changing evidence or somehow impeding the investigation.
But she's probably like, I feel like in her head, she's like, damn, like, how am I going to pull this one off? Like, because they got, and this is just a very little snippet of what they're giving us, right? I can imagine what else they got or could be coming. And and Anna's still missing.
Charges are, he neglected to mention that he went to Abington and Brockton, and then he neglected to mention that he was at a Home Depot. I suggest on those charges, for a regular person, as everybody has to be treated, that would be a no bail situation. With respect to violation of conditions of his federal bail, that is most appropriately dealt with in the federal court. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Bail is set at $500,000 cash, $5 million.
He said, F that.
Surety. Can we get a 30-day date, Ms. Minor, please?
The surety, I forgot how that works. Can he put up property or something? Or how does that?
$5 million surety.
Let me look that up.
Can we get a 30-day date, Ms. Minor, please?
Surety.
What
What a surety bond. What are surety bonds? Surety bond is a promise to be liable for the debt, default, or failure of another. It is a third-party contract by which one party, the surety, guarantees the performances or obligations of the second party. So it's just like, yeah, it's just a bond thing. To obtain a surety bond, the principal pays a premium to the surety. Typically, an insurance company, the surety bond requires a principal to sign an indemnity agreement that pledges the company of personal assets. That pledges company and personal assets to reimburse the surety if a claim occurs.
You tell me any date he would be.
Put up property, right?
We would do this by teleconference from the House of Correction.
I think he could do property, right?
Richie, I want you to keep the.
Yeah, if I can
I
just
have a
look.
copy of the warrant, so keep that in the file, please.
So he can probably get out. Yeah. If it's 10%, he might be able to do that.
Set at $500,000 cash, you have a right to appeal that bill to Superior Court. If you make this bill and get arrested or charged with any more offense while this case is pending, you could be held up to 90 days without bail. We're going to pick a conference date within 30 days.
Yeah.
Is Thursday, February 9th available?
Thursday, February 9th is perfect.
Thank you.
February 9th.
Video minute, please.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just can't, like, if he did these things, which again, it's not looking good for this guy. I don't know how these people could just stand there with like a straight, like sober face, just kind of like, I mean, I don't know. No feelings or emotion, no like.
Thank you.
Oh, the judge said cash. All right, the judge said cash. 500 cash. So does that mean they can't do 400? A cash bond is when you post a cash in order to fulfill your obligations. The advantage to the principal of a cash bond is a lower fee because reserves are essentially covered by the cash on hand. There's no need for funds to be readily available. The disadvantage is having to have the full bond amount in cash on hand. Oh, so it has to be the full amount, right? That's the full amount. I wonder if I could call Maven. I don't know if she's busy. Ask Maven real quick. I don't know. I don't like to blind call people sometimes, but let's see if Maven can answer real quick. She might not answer though.
Mr. Walsh.
No, I'll have to ask her later. But it looks like it means you have to pay the full amount, all cash. She's in the chat. So I heard, let me pull up this guy. I heard, what is his name? His name is Brian Walsh, another Brian. Lord Almighty. Brian Walsh. Walshe. Oof. So somebody else told me a cash or surety bond, you can pay 10%. They believe. Surety. I keep messing that up. cash, surety, bond meeting. I don't know they had so many damn different bonds. The main difference between a cash bond and a surety bond is the number of parties involved. Cash bonds only involve two parties, you and the owner. In a surety bond, there's a third party and the surety company. Looks like it from satellite.
We headed west.
Let me see. I think we got the address of the home here too. It's so weird. The Zillow listing is just an image from the sky. What the hell? They don't got like images of inside the house. Damn, and those houses out there are expensive too. $700K plus the houses out there, and So anyway, let me see what else I got here. Oh, okay, let's get to this real quick, and I'll see if I can find out more about this bond thing or whatever. I don't know how this stuff works. So the biggest things they mentioned there was, I think, the pings, the $450 worth of cleaning supplies. And there was a video that I needed to show you guys. Let me see if I can find it, because it was on my, because they had audio recording. So apparently this guy, I think he called in to the I think they have audio of him calling the real estate company. I'm gonna pull up my history here. I guess that's it. This must be the video then. Let me do it.
No sign of a missing mother of three from Cohasset. Anna Walshe vanished New Year's Day without a trace, and there continues to be more questions than answers about what happened to her. Now, her husband, 46-year-old Brian Walshe, is under arrest, charged with misleading the police investigating Anna's disappearance. Meanwhile, investigators executed a search warrant at the couple's home today, looking for anything that might help them get some answers. Good evening, everyone. Ken McLeod with you on this Sunday night. WBZ's Brandon Truitt spent the day in Cohasset and spoke to a friend of the Walshe family who says the entire situation is heartbreaking.
Just a day after state police told us they would not return to the wooded area near the Walshe family home, investigators showed up in force to the front yard. State police were seen with shovels in hand before serving out a search warrant. Our cameras catching investigators removing boxes of evidence from inside the home. They did this for hours. The investigation into Anna Walshe's disappearance growing more intense. She's been missing for a week now. At the same time the search was happening here, the Norfolk District Attorney announced Anna's husband, 46-year-old Brian Walshe, had been arrested and charged with misleading investigators. This booking photo of Mr. Walshe is from a previous case. In 2018, the U.S. District Court charged him with fraud for selling 2 fake Andy Warhol paintings. Court paperwork states Walshe pled guilty to those charges. He had been on home confinement pending his sentencing. This comes as WBZ has obtained and verified audio of a voicemail left by Mr. Walshe for one of Anna's friends. The friend lives in Washington, D.C., where Anna works, and tells us the voicemail was left on Wednesday. That's the same day Anna was reported missing to police.
Good afternoon. It's Brian Walshe. I hope all is going well. I was just reaching out to basically everybody I could. Anna hasn't been in touch for a few days. Do you know anyone that might have had contact with her? Calling everyone. So sorry to bother you. Sure, everything's fine.
This is absolutely heartbreaking.
Peter Kirby is a friend of the Walshe family and was with Brian as recently as Thursday, adding Anna and Brian consider 2023 to be their year.
So I always tell people, man, this year's going to be the best year. I always tell the people on Discord, and this year's going to be the year. I mean, you never know what's going to happen, but bro.
Kirby now contending with the developments in this case while supporting his close friend.
Our dear friend Brian is in this awful situation where he is terrified and heartbroken and, stuck in an endless loop of unknown, while the internet decides he's the bad guy.
Oh, so he's taking up for him. Yeah, he's taking up for Brian, defending him. I mean, the thing is, man, you know, we should always like wait, I guess, and stuff. But I just think there's so much coming out. It's clearly pointing to this guy. You know, we don't know yet. We'd have to wait and see. But clearly, there's a lot of sus stuff with this guy. I'm really kind of wondering what their family life was like. Like, will anybody come forward? Like a different friend? Check this shit out. Look at homeboy smiling. Mira este hombre aquí, con un smile en la cara. I don't know how people do this shit. Look at this. Smiling for everybody.
Brian, what do you want the public to know about this case?
Was that a nervous smile? What's the body language experts? I don't think that was a nervous smile. Or could it have been? Look at that. Or maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe he's just like shocked that all the media is there. He's like, oh shit, I really done did it now. Yo, it's the era of true crime. I mean, there's a lot of people that are tuning in now into this story. There's a lot of people starting channels now. I mean, there's always waves of that, but like more now than ever, just seems to be this thing. And so like these people maybe think these stories are not going to get that much attention, and everything's being highlighted with like a magnifying glass, you know? Oh shit, this boy's smiling, bro. You got ballsy to smile like that. What coming out? Shit, not even Brian Kohlberger was, well actually Kohlberger smiled in the courtroom to his attorney, which it's not a great look, but like, okay, Kohlberger didn't walk out or walk into this bitch smiling. Even Kohlberger just kept a straight face. This guy over here just like smiling and shit. Imagine this guy came out with a smile like that, Kohlberger. Damn.
Brian, what do you want the public to know about this case?
Oh my gosh, debt up to his balls. All right, let's check the emails. Where's your email, Mouse? Please drop it for me. So do ickidmail@gmail.com if you can. Check that out. Thank you for the super chat. And let me get the other super chats as well. I'm just kind of curious, what is the history behind this guy and these people? We know that this guy's a scam artist, was charged for it. Let me see here. Dave T, thank you for the super chat. Cameron, thanks for the super chat. Mel, been watching for a while. New mic sounds good. Thought it could tell a difference in your voice. Thank you. Freebird, thanks for the super chat. Thank you for humor, kindness, and legit reporting of current news and car chases. Appreciate your efforts. Yeah, the car chases, lately it's just been like, they get canceled. Even last night, I was up kind of late, waiting, listening. At one point, I just went to bed. I was like, they just keep canceling everything. They're not even trying anymore. Silence Betrayal, thank you for the super chat, and we will talk definitely after the stream. Fact Not Fiction, thanks for the super chat. Says, anytime a Home Depot trip comes into play in between reporting a missing person, doesn't sound good. Yeah, $450, boy, buying a bunch of cleaning stuff, mops, and all kinds of shit, you know. And he didn't mention that to police. He just tells me, yeah, I went to go get ice cream. Jackie, thank you for the super chat. Mercedes, thank you for the super chat. KJ, thanks for the super chat. Says, oh my gosh, debt up to his balls was your email. So yeah, I'm going to keep an eye out for that email. I have a little bit, I have like 20 minutes for this stream left, because then I got to go pick up baby girl. I may be back later today, and Maven just texted me. Says, okay. Cash bond typically means they got to pay back in cash full amount. There's no bond. There's no bail bond in MA. There's potentially a bail review, so attorney can make a motion and court to have a judge consider reduction, but unlikely. Okay. I'm thinking you might have to maybe pay in full. That's full amount. But I thought I heard a surety too. I don't know. But I definitely heard cash bond. And the Bryan stayed taking L's. Let me just see this real quick here. Oh, hold on. Is this the guy being... I think this is a video of him being arrested.
We begin tonight with some breaking news. The husband of the missing Cohasset mom has been arrested for allegedly misleading a police investigation. This morning, authorities were seen returning to Anna Walsh's Cohasset home. That's according to WCVB in Boston. Now, she was last seen leaving her home early on January 1st. The 39-year-old lives in Cohasset but works in Washington, D.C. She missed her flight to D.C. and then never showed up for work. Her husband, 46-year-old Brian Walshe, is set to be arraigned tomorrow morning. We'll continue tracking this story for you, bringing you the latest details as soon as we have them.
Ooh. Cohasset case. This was on Juicy Scoop Facebook yesterday. Oh. Okay, but the thing with this, so somebody sent me this at 1:28 with allegations, somebody claiming that the body has been found, but this was 20 hours ago, so I honestly really feel like police would have announced that if her body was found. Where did you see this? I'm a local and have not heard. Somebody said my sister lives in Cohasset, so it's not public yet. This is 20 hours ago. Never mind, heard the same thing from a friend. How tragic. Where is this shared? In what town? My sister lives there. It's a rumor. So the only thing with that I'd say is that like there's nothing. I would have thought by now, 20 hours later, they would have said something. And so we're looking at the official website for police, which I got to get into the sofa couch thing as well. I almost forgot. And these are like some of the pictures they put out here. Search continues. This was 2 days ago. They're not. I don't know what I wonder what exactly they're doing today for their search, but they got this command center. Looks like. I'm playing around. They posted here as well an hour ago. This guy, I mean, over here smiling and shit. That's just crazy. So it says here, update, Brian Walshe is being held on $500,000 bail after it was revealed during his arraignment that investigators obtained a search warrant for the couple's current home and found evidence of blood in the basement along with a knife that also contained some traces of blood. Prosecutors also say he told them he left his house to take his son to get ice cream. However, he was seen on surveillance video at the Rockland Home Depot making a cash purchase for over $450 of supplies, including mops, a bucket, drop clothes, and various kinds of tape. What is drop clothes? Is that stuff that is like a coverall, like an overall type of thing? You see, drop clothes, Lowe's. It's probably like a whole, like a. Let's see. Oh, those are like. It looks like cloth, drop cloth. Is that what it said? Drop cloth. That's like clothes. So that's like those things that like you're gonna go painting. That's bad, bro. So you're covering stuff up, like the entire floor, or like you're covering something to stop from paint getting on. I mean, so if that isn't sus, bruh. Somebody said tarps too, yeah. Canvas, drop cloth. Damn. Yeah, I mean, this is man, dude. The whole body Facebook thing from yesterday, I'm take that as a grain of salt until there's something more verifiable. And I wonder what's the next court thing for this guy. But at this time, no information expected. So she's still missing, not found. And I just wonder if her family has anything to say. Like, dude. So let's take a look at this too. Sofa sleuths should leave investigation to the professionals. Snapping, man. The police are kind of like done with this stuff too now. So this was, I think, from a day ago. And it says here, this was yesterday. Yeah. Cohasset Police Detective Mike Loops flew to Washington, D.C. on Saturday with Massachusetts State Police troopers to follow up on leads and to interview friends and colleagues of Cohasset resident Anna Walshe. who is the subject of a missing person investigation after disappearing from her home on New Year's Day, Chief Quigley, makes you think of Simpsons, told the Cohasset anchor in an exclusive telephone interview Saturday night. Walshe travels to D.C. weekly, where she works for a property management company as a real estate executive and has friends all over the country. Lieutenant Loops will be conducting interviews and coordinating with our department and the state police from there, Quigley said. Detectives are working on a number of tips received by the Cohasset Police Department. While all information shared that could help with the investigation is appreciated and taken seriously, Quigley noted that there are a lot of armchair detectives and sofa sleuths on social media who should leave the police work and investigation to the professionals. We have been inundated with outlandish suggestions on how to conduct this investigation, not only from social media users in Cohasset, but all over the country, and take our attention away from concentrating on the real investigation. So these people are trying to send them tips on how to do the investigation. Damn. An extensive ground search, including bodies of water in the area, was conducted on the Route 3A Pond Street area, where Walshe lives with her husband and 3 sons, ages 6, 4, and 2. On Friday and Saturday, the Walshe's swimming pool was also drained. We are looking for Anna or evidence as to how she disappeared, but we did not find anything to help locate her. Okay. No, they're not having it. Quigley also confirmed that as of right now, there does not appear to be a nexus between her husband's past criminal conviction and a wire fraud in her disappearance. And this was the report that BL actually sent me this. Media now reporting that husband of missing Cohasset woman is a scam artist who's been federally charged with selling fake Andy Warhol paintings. So we covered that with the news clip earlier too. Oh, kids. Man, bro. Wedding pictures here. Taller than her too. They've been featured in the Boston Magazine, and Brian has been featured in the Boston Globe as an Boston-based international art dealer. Oh. He was featured in the Globe again in 2015 in an article titled "Where the Power Players Fuel Up." It was basically him talking about eating at expensive French restaurants and being an art dealer who purchased every ounce of the restaurant's white truffles and every wine from his birth year. Basically, they are extremely vain, self-obsessed narcissists who want to project to the world how attractive, successful, and amazing they are. Oh, so they've been in magazines before. Oh. Wow. For some reason, the media isn't asking any questions about her husband, because if they did, they'd find out that he has a long and documented criminal record. In 2017, Brian Walshe sold 2 fake Andy Warhol paintings for $80,000 that he said were worth $240,000 to an art dealer in LA. They sued him over it and was charged in 2018. Wow. The Superior Court lawsuit from the Revolver Gallery accuses Brian and Anna of passing off clever forgeries of 2 scarce pieces from the Warhol series of silk screen works called Shadows, by claiming they were worth at least $100,000 and as much as $240,000. When the gallery owner Ron received these pieces, however, He says he discovered that the promised authentication stamp on their backs were non-existent. The supporting documentation was phony, and the canvas on which was presumably 38-year-old works were printed as new. Ooh. The forgeries appear to be quite recent, according to the complaint, and the probably copies of authentic originals. Brian and Anna likely sold the authentic Warhols to a collector in South Korea and passed off the forgeries in the United States, assuming that because the paintings are different continents, the forgeries would not be detected, the complainant states. It's unclear if Anna was part of the planning the scams, but she did participate in selling them. Last fall, Walshe's listed 2 shadow paintings on eBay for $100,000. The gallery says in the 10-page complaint, the listing said they had bought the pieces from an art dealer for $240,000, but were forced to sell them out of loss to remodel their home. It's a deal, I guess, right? Steal. According to the March 30th lawsuit, Brian purports to be variously an international art dealer, an art collector, or an art consultant from a prominent family in Boston. Here's the best part. They initially agreed to pay back the guy they scammed for $80K and only paid $30K, and then told they weren't going to give any more because he had the audacity to report it to the police. Rivlin contacted the police and the Walshes. Brian and Anna Walsh promised to repay his $80,000, the gallery says, but have made only 2 partial payments totaling $30,000. When they learned he had reported them to law enforcement, the Walshes notified Revolver that they refused to repay any more of the money in retaliation for the reporting, the gallery says. How dare you report 80,000 larceny? We don't owe you anything now, probably because they cashed the $80,000 check and went on a spending spree, so they didn't have the money to pay him back. On November 7, 2016, the buyers, while I'm hearing all this stuff, it kind of makes me wonder, like, did they have life insurance? And did this guy have life insurance? You know, usually I thought like woman killings, when the woman kills somebody, a lot of times it's like financial based, and I forget what else. But because I'm thinking of I even just flashed back a little bit to the Lori Vallow thing. Weren't they trying to trying to take somebody for their life insurance or something like that? Somebody they were going to kill. Oh, they had somebody allegedly killed, I thought, but it turned out they didn't have life insurance. They thought this guy had life insurance, but he didn't, or some shit like, or no. This person removed, I think wasn't it her ex or something like that? Removed her from the life insurance or some shit like that. So he kind of like, you know, got a little laugh on that, even though he got killed. But on November 7, 2016, the buyer's assistant flew to Boston and met with Walsh to retrieve the paintings, providing him with a cashier's check for $80,000. According to the bank records, the cashier's check was deposited that day into the account that Walsh controlled, and $33,400 was subsequently withdrawn in the following 14 days. But they were living it up in Europe on Facebook, though. Oh, snap. It gets even worse. Brian Walsh also scammed his friend in South Korea by telling him that they could sell real Andy Warhol paintings for a good price in New York. He took the paintings with him and then completely ghosted the guy. Unfortunately for him, the scam didn't pay off because he didn't have proof that it was his and thus couldn't sell it to a legitimate art dealer. Walsh initially gained access to the paintings through a friend, the victim. Walsh was present when the victim first purchased a Warhol painting. Sometime after the purchase, the victim purchased the 2 shadow paintings. And I wonder, who are these people that spend all these thousands and thousands of dollars on fake shit? Wow. Thereafter, while visiting the victim in South Korea, Walsh told the victim that he could sell some of the art for a good price. The victim agreed and let Walsh take the 2 shadow paintings and other fine art pieces. After Walsh took the items, the victim did not hear from Walsh and wasn't able to contact him. Eventually, the victim contacted a mutual friend who met with Walsh and retrieved some of the art. On May 3rd, 2011, Walsh attempted to co-sign the Warhol paintings to a gallery in New York City at which time he also had other art belonging to the victim. The gallery declined to accept the paintings because Walsh did not have a bill of sale. The U.S. Attorney's Office ended up prosecuting him, and he pled guilty in 2021. A Lynn man pleaded guilty today in connection with taking and attempting to sell the Warhol paintings on eBay. Brian, 46, pleaded guilty to 1 count each of wire fraud, interstate transportation for a scheme to defraud, possession of converted goods, and unlawful monetary transaction. The U.S. Senior District Court Judge Douglas Woodlock scheduled sentencing for August 2nd, 2021. In May 2018, Walsh was arrested and charged. Okay. But just when you thought he couldn't get any scummier, he went and caught another charge in federal court when he plundered his dead father's estate after finding out that his old man kept him out of the will. Ooh. The dad had the ultimate mic drop in the will. Best wishes, but nothing else. You know how much of a scumbag you have to be to have your dead father do that to you. So, and it's just weird that I mentioned this thing with the other situation where they removed this person off the will. I get if this is true. It's an interesting article. And TB Daily News, I wonder where they source their information. I thought they get it from like Daily Mail or something. I don't know where, but this is really interesting. It should also be noted that although Anna Walsh obsessively posts on her IG, maybe I shouldn't, because I think probably the kids are going to show up here and all that. Or maybe not. No, she doesn't really. Well, yeah, some of them post for kids, but show some of this. I mean, it's public, I guess, but. Just kind of wanted to see her regular post. Confident, generous, loving leader, serving those I lead. So this article is really good because they source a lot of their information. They got links and everything. They have pictures. I don't know if that's obsessively posting though. She has not posted a picture of them together in almost 3 years. Ooh. She mostly posts selfies, pictures of her kids, or images of the fabulous people she works with in DC at her second home. So that's interesting. That's kind of telling. This was a sweet ride. Miss it. Confessions that makes me feel like a kid, brings back memories, even helps me focus. That's the thing too. A lot of these people, and I only have a couple minutes left. But a lot of these people, I just hear so many stories of people staying with people that they're just completely unhappy with and miserable with, and I guess it complicates it when you have kids. And so I don't know if that's her case, but there had to be something going on. Then a few minutes of fire broke out at their former home, which they moved out a few months ago, which, yeah, that's pretty weird. Chief says coincidence, but the assessor's office lists Anna Walsh's as property owner. The Cohasset assessor's office lists this property as the owner by Anna Walsh, the woman missing since January 1st. So she's the owner. The police must think there's something up because they're doing a search near their primary home. I mean, this article really went in depth. A lot of the links. I don't know what is going on here, but there's no way in hell Brian isn't helping hide something. Just to review, this is a man who is so despised by his own family that they kept him out of the will. So he stole all of his dad's stuff after he died, allegedly. He intentionally tried to scam his friend in South Korea and scam the LA Art Gallery with 2 fake paintings. He's pled guilty to these crimes, but somehow isn't in jail. He probably owes a lot of people money. He couldn't afford to pay back the $50,000. Their entire wealthy existence is all fraudulent, and they make people seem like they're rich and successful by portraying themselves as such on social media. Oh, and now a house they own is on fire. I can't imagine this woman is alive unless I can't imagine this woman is alive unless this is part of yet another scam. But she is incredibly vain and narcissistic as well. I find it hard to believe that she didn't know about her husband's crimes. She valued her I don't know who this is writing this, but she valued her big fancy job in DC as a real estate executive more than she did spending time with the 3 sons. This is weird. This almost seems like personal, this article too. Or maybe they're just basing it off everything they've been reading. I don't know. Who she apparently only sees on the weekends. Really? I spent all night on the phone with Zoom and Zoom with friends in Massachusetts and DC who love Anna Walsh. The 39-year-old has a big, busy job in DC and a real estate executive, but every weekend is for her husband and 3 young sons. Oh, so yeah, maybe that's true then. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This person is actually providing links and like to everything they're saying. A lot of the stuff they're saying. If she wasn't in on the scam, she was still reaping the fruits of it, but chose to stay with him. All I know is this guy's extremely shady and probably capable of anything. My heart breaks for her children. We'll keep you posted with any updates. That was a really interesting article, I gotta say. Turtle Riders, Turtle Boy. Adrian Kearney. Yeah, or Adian. That was really interesting. All right, I have to head out of here, man. If you guys could hit like too, I'd appreciate that. Check out the channel sponsor as well. I gotta pin him. I forgot to pin the comment. Let me see if the bot's working. I might be back later today. I feel like there's a short video that I could work on with the Koberger story, or short video. But we're gonna continue covering the Idaho stuff, but I am gonna be trying to, like, when I can, start mixing in cases again. So we can just kind of start talking about other things, you know, kind of mixing it up again. I think it'll be easier to mix it in now since it's kind of, there's things coming out, but not really much, you know. Pin it. Okay, so there's the pin. Yeah, at the end of the month, we're doing a giveaway. Check out Swag It. And thank you guys so much for coming through today. I really appreciate it. Early afternoon. I want to try to get back on schedule if I can, if possible. Maddie's back in school. Kids are back to school. Got to be up super early now in the mornings, you know, parent stuff. But I want to try to do at least if I can. I don't like to say too much because things are always shifting. But ideally, I'd like to do like an early afternoon stream. If we do one later, we do one later too. Be recording stuff like that. So, but yeah, thank you guys so much. And hopefully she's found. Hopefully we find out some more information. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this case because it's kind of interesting. And let me see my email. Okay. Yeah. Whatever else I find on this case, we'll leave it for another video. All right. So thank you guys so much. Take care. Have a great day. Love you guys. Peace. Bye. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Bloop, 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 bloop.